Now, after this agreement or this trust declaration was executed, and you've told us this was January 2007, did you believe that you were a beneficial owner of World Class Developments?
No, I did not.
Did you change the way you operated in relation to World Class Developments in any way?
No, I did not.
Did you believe, and we've just read the terms together, did you believe that Mr. Coopery had to deal with the shares of WCD in a manner that was beneficial to you?
No, I did not.
Do you recall how many copies of this trust declaration were signed?
I thought there was just 2.
And what became of those copies after they were signed in January 2007?
Well, I took mine home. I don't know what Leo did with his. After we returned from the trip, I didn't feel we needed it anymore, so I discarded mine.
Right. Now, we've covered whether you changed the manner in which you operated in relation to the company, whether you believed you were a beneficial owner, and also whether you understood that Mr. Coopery had to deal with the shares in a manner that was beneficial to you. Let me take you now to Exhibit 197. And I appreciate that we don't see the whole document at once, Mr. McCallion. But you'll see that from the top of the first page of this document, this is a declaration of trust and shareholders agreement dated August 1st, 2007 between Landplex, Inc. and Ontario Corporation and Leo Coopery.
Yes.
From what you can see of that document, sir, can you tell me whether you have seen this declaration of trust and shareholders agreement before?
I have seen it, but I have not read it.
Right. Did you understand that subsequently, this is subsequent to entering into the declaration of trust in January 2007, that Mr. Coopery gave 80% of his interest to Landplex, a company apparently owned by Tony DeChico?
Yes.
Were you aware of this at the time? That's as of August 1st, 2007?
I was aware of it. I didn't know the details, though.
Did you have any say in Mr. Coopery's decision to do that?
No, but I thought it was best for the company.
And did you think that this line here, which we can see on the screen, whereas Leo is the beneficial owner of 80 common shares, the shares in the capital stock of World Class Developments Limited, did you think that that accurately reflected Mr. Coopery's interest in World Class Developments?
Yes.
By the way, at that time, who held the other 20% of the shares in World Class Developments?
Murray Cook.
Now, you told me that you believe there were 2 copies of that declaration of trust that we've seen previously, which was Exhibit 190. When you returned from your trip with Mr. Coopery in February 2007, what did you do with your copy?
I discarded it because the trip was over. It was for the purpose of the trip only.
Now, we've canvassed another issue, and that had to do with Mr. Coopery's investment in the company for the deposit or down payment of $750,000.
Yes.
After he invested that money, what was Mr. Coopery's role in the day-to-day operation of World Class Developments?
Basically, I represented his interest because he was not interested in going to meetings and development meetings and whatnot. So I represented him. That was my role.
Now, in representing him, was it your job then to pass information on to him pertaining to the company?
Yes.
Now, Murray Cook's name has come up as well. And in the early stages of world-class development, you recruited him. Is that right, sir?
Correct, yes.
And you touched on this briefly. You said he'd been a developer, but how did you know Mr. Cook?
He grew up in Streetsville as well as I did. He was a little bit older than me, but we went to the same high school, but not together.
And why in particular did you recruit Mr. Cook as opposed to someone else with development experience?
Well, he has a lot of experience, and I know him. He's a family friend. He's been president of Deerhurst. He was president of BC Place, I believe, for 10 years. And he also was president of Emar Developments in Dubai.
Did you say BC Place or
Yes.
BCE Place?
No, BC Place.
BC Place.
Vancouver.
Yes.
And in terms of negotiation with vendors, who did you think would be dealing with the sellers of the property among your group?
Well, Murray would be the best for that.
And when we look at Exhibit 192, which is the agreement of purchase and sale, and I'll just stop there. You'll see that this was sent to Mr. Cook by way of covering letter dated February 2nd, 2007. And first of all, sir, where were you on February 2nd, 2007?
I believe I was in Vietnam.
Where was Mr. Coupry on February 2nd, 2007, to the best of your recollection?
In Vietnam, too.
And in relation to this agreement of purchase and sale negotiated with the vendors, we see that it was sent to Mr. Cook, and you've told us that you expected he would take the lead in negotiation in any event. Is that right?
Yes.
Now, you've told us that Mr. Cook came to have 20% of the shares in World Class Developments. Is that right?
Yes.
Did he invest money?
Not that I was aware of, no.
How was it then that Mr. Coupry, who had held all of the shares in WCD, came to part with some of them?
Well, Mr. Cook needed some benefit for negotiating the deal and lending his credibility to the project.
If we could turn to Exhibit 193, please. And what we have here is a shareholders agreement dated February 28, 2007 between World Class Developments Limited, Murray Cook, and Leo Coupry. Is that right, Mr. McCallion?
Yes.
Mr. McCallion, first of all, were you aware of Mr. Coupry's decision? Before I get there, do you understand that this agreement reflects in the second paragraph that Mr. Cook is the holder of 20% of the common shares of the corporation?
Yes.
And Mr. Coupry, the holder of 80% of the common shares of the corporation. Is that right, sir?
Yes.
And were you aware of Mr. Coupry's decision to transfer shares to Mr. Cook?
I was aware of it.
Now, were you made aware of this agreement at the time?
I believe I saw it afterwards.
Did you have any role in the negotiation of that agreement as between Mr. Cook and Mr. Coupry?
No, I did not.
Now, you've told me that Mr. Cook provided, if I can boil it down, expertise and credibility to the project. Is that right?
Yes.
Can you tell us about what Mr. Cook did then on behalf of World Class Developments, apart from negotiating the agreement of purchase and sale that we've already seen?
Well, he knows a lot of the consultants in Toronto in terms of architects, hotel consultants, planners that you all need.
And if we speak of particular consultants, Mr. McCallion, the documents that the Commission has obtained refer to Page and Steel, for example.
Architects.
And who involved Page and Steel then on behalf of World Class Development?
Murray did. He knew them.
The documents also refer to Barry Lyon.
Yes, he was. He'd worked with Barry Lyon in the past.
And Mr. Lyon and his firm are consultants in what field, Mr. McCallion?
Planning.
The documents also refer to Horwath Horizon Consultants.
Yes, they're hotel consultants.
And did you have any understanding about why hotel consultants were necessary?
Because the project called for a hotel.
And if we could turn please to Exhibit 136. I'm going to show you a letter on the letterhead of Marriott Hotels of Canada, dated February 23rd, 2006, addressed to Mr. Murray Cook, World Class Developments, 400 Brunel Road, Mississauga, Ontario. And I'll give you a moment to review that, sir.
Yes.
Were you aware of this letter at the time?
I knew that Murray had acquired a letter, yes. I had not seen it, though.
You had not seen it at the time?
At the time, no.
And in the second paragraph, I note that it says, "We are very aware of Mayor McCallion's desire to entertain a 4-star property close to the Living Arts Centre and believe that the city needs this hub to consolidate its profile and positioning in the province." Let me stop there. I've asked you previously about the city's interest in developing a hotel in the city centre.
Correct.
Does this fairly represent what you understood to be your mother's interest in developing a hotel in the city centre?
I believe there was a lot of people that wanted a hotel next to the Living Arts Centre, including her.
Okay. So what we have here is a letter expressing interest in participating in the project, and this from the Marriott hotel chain. Is that right, sir?
Correct, yes.
Now, I've taken you previously to the agreement of purchase and sale, which was Exhibit 192, and it's dated January 31st, 2007. And you've told me that you expected Mr. Cook to play the leading role in negotiating that on behalf of World Class Developments. What was your involvement, if any, in the negotiations and eventual signing of the agreement of purchase and sale?
I was not involved in negotiations at all. I did converse with Murray on a regular basis, but I was not involved in negotiations whatsoever.